everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Rise and Glide podcast, brought to you by Paddlelogger. My name is Maddie LeBlanc, and I am joined here today with my co-host Holly Pye. And today, to the podcast, we would love to welcome a very French welcome.
Bonjour.
Aloha. Yeah, bonjour. Ça va, Holly? But today we want to welcome Aloha, a very incredible, phenomenal, world-class Tahitian paddler, athlete. And this conversation, oh my gosh, this one was also a really fun conversation to have and to learn so much more about other paddling crafts, not just stand-up paddling. We were introduced to Aloha through her performance at the ICF World Championships back in November, when she just was cruising alongside like Espe and Mary Carmen, like that front leading pack. And everybody was like, who is this woman? Just chilling. She looked like she was out for a Sunday paddle. It was like the most phenomenal thing I've ever seen. And so we were like, we have to talk to this woman, which was pretty cool.
It was such a cool conversation. I remember watching that event on the live feed, on the Total SUP live stream. And I think I only switched it on like part of the way through the event. For whatever reason, I didn't watch the start. And I just remember seeing, like Espe, Mary Carmen, and I can't remember who else, but all of these top paddlers. And Aloha just chilling, just paddling far enough away that she was nothing to do with the draft. And she looked super comfortable. She wasn't like absolutely gassed to keep up with them. And I think there was a few moments where even they looked across like, who is this, and why is she not in our draft? Like, what's going on here? I think they were worried for a few moments. But you were there too, Maddie, weren't you? How did you find that race?
Yes, I was there, and I did find that race quite phenomenal. Like, the starting line was insane because the course, it was completely flat water. But even with starting with so many paddlers, it was pretty choppy, like the first little bit. And once the draft trains formed, though, it was pretty cool that there wasn't a whole lot of movement around, though, like at least for the women's race specifically, too, that like once people were in their train, it was like, that's where we stayed. I know in my train specifically, there was a few women that were kind of jumping. Like, I had one girl that, like, I think 3 times it was kind of funny. Like, she tried to pass me, and I'm like, this is not happening. Because every time she tried, I would just, like, speed up a little bit. And then she was like, okay, this isn't happening. So she would fall back. But I do remember what was quite phenomenal about this race and about Aloha's performance is that, you know, when you go back and you watch the live stream, and we see her just chilling beside the front pack, I remember a lot of friends asking me, oh, does she know what drafting is? Or does she know how to draft? And when people found out after the event, like who she was, like her background coming in Va'a and paddling surf ski and all of these other crafts, like a lot of people were like, oh, okay, maybe she just didn't know any better. Like maybe she just had no idea that she needed to jump on the train to really stayed with these women for the whole entire race. But then we interviewed her and she damn well knew. She's like, nope, like I know exactly what drafting is. I just was like, I want nothing to do with that train. Like, I want to race my own race. And I thought that was so phenomenal to hear her say that, because for a lot of people in this sport, that's not the strategy. Like it is always like, if I can find someone to kind of hang on with and save some energy here and there, I'll do it. But I think that mentality from her was just so cool to hear, because not a lot of paddlers think that way. And I do think that's what makes her stand out and what makes her such a successful athlete and freaking Va'a champion. Like, she is a Tahitian Va'a champion, which is so cool. And for those listening that don't know what Va'a is very much like outrigger canoe. So the boats are almost built the same, but they're rudderless. So there's no fin at the back, which means too that you're not steering these boats with foot pedals that are normally in the boat. The foot pedals are connected to the rudder, connected to the fin that allow you to steer in an OC1, but Va'a, it's all with your hips because there's no rudder. So these boats are probably tippier too than an OC1, even though there's still an ama, and an ama is the arm that sticks out at the side of the boat to help keep you stable. So it was cool too to talk to Aloha and hear about how her technique is very similar from a Va'a to stand up. I thought that was pretty cool as
Mm.
well.
Yeah, I thought so too. It was interesting hearing, how she felt the sports all kind of cross over because she's also dabbling in a bit of surf ski. I think, I can't remember now. I think she told us that she hasn't been doing surf ski for all that long, but she's already like won some titles in that too. So that's super cool. But yeah, it sounds like the training really crosses over really well. I think throughout this episode, she kind of emphasized the importance of having good technique. And yeah, it goes to show like obviously your fitness and your training is important, but her technique must be pretty spot on to keep up with people like Espe and Mary Cohen throughout an event when they really are unbeatable a lot of the time. So yeah, I really enjoyed this conversation. It was great, and I also hope to meet Aloha in real life as well soon, maybe at the next World Championships if she comes.
I sure hope so. I think she did in this episode explain a little bit of her racing calendar, and I know she'll be in Hawaii a lot, which is going to be really cool. I know she wanted to go to Abu Dhabi, but I think she actually said that she does have a world championship for Va'a or something, or surf ski, one of the disciplines that same weekend, so she won't be there. But I think potentially next year, she said she might be able to come to Sicily, like she might be able to come to Italy, which would be so cool because yeah, her presence and her demeanor, like just the way she spoke to us in this conversation, like for everyone listening, like I hope you all get the chance to meet her one day because she is a really cool person and I genuinely enjoyed this conversation with Aloha.
Me too. Yeah, let's get on with it and let the listeners tune in as well. So here we go, everybody. This is our episode of Rise and Glide with Aloha Eychenne.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Rise and Glide podcast brought to you by Paddlesports. I am here today, joined by my co-host Holly Pye. I'm Maddie LeBlanc, and today we have a very special guest, all the way from French Polynesia. Aloha, welcome to the Rise and Glide podcast. We are so thrilled to have you here today. So tell us, where are you coming from in French Polynesia? Where are you speaking to us from today?
Everyone, so today I'm in Tahiti, in the main island of Tahiti Island. So hi from there.
Okay, that's awesome. I know you told Holly and I that you were from French Polynesia, but we both were so curious to know, like, okay, where in that region are you from? And so originally you did tell us that you're from Wahine, but you now live on mainland Tahiti. Is that correct?
Yeah, my parents still living in Huahine. So when I come back in French Polynesia, I'm obviously go to this island, smaller and no crowded island. So it's so good to go over there. But now I'm in Tahiti because I'm training in kayak, and there is a technique coach in Tahiti. So I train with him and the Federation of Tahitian Federation of Kayak. So that's why I'm in Tahiti and not in Huahine. And I'm just not in France too because it's too cold. And I just say, oh, not this year. I don't want to train in winter condition this year.
I wouldn't either. I actually about this time last year was in Tahiti and I remember it was so hot and I was like, wow, but I loved it. I'm like, I'll stay here forever. I love this heat. So you're definitely in the right place to be training. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's for sure it's hot. It's very hot and the sun is burning, but it's good.
It sounds awesome. I'm really interested. So for any listeners anybody listening to the podcast who doesn't know, Iloha, well, I think Maddie and I first came across Iloha at the ICF World Championships, the ICF SUP World Championships in November in Sarasota, Florida. She is a super accomplished Va'a paddler originally, I think, and then you're now expanding to lots of different disciplines and just absolutely dominating in the paddling world. So we're really excited to chat with you about your kind of transition into paddling when you were young, but also what it's like now, kind of expanding to surf ski and stand up paddling, and whatever else you might be doing too. So maybe you could tell us a little bit about how you got into paddling when you were just 7 years old.
Yeah, so when you live on an island, there is ocean everywhere, so you don't have choice to do something on the water. And my dad like just bought me my first Va'a at 7 years, and I say, oh, let's try it. But it was very hard, very long canoe, and you don't have rudder, so the canoe go where he want to go, but not where you want to go. So you just fight against him and say, I don't like it. I prefer go surfing. So it was my first time trying in V1. So I was the only one on the boat, and I'll have to paddle and steer at the same time. And I say, I'm not sure I will like this sport. So I go back to surf and other thing, and I come back later on paddling with a team. So it was better to learn, and I learned with a 6 woman crew team when I was 13 years old. So it's really at this moment when I start paddling, because I start paddling with a team. So it was you just need to paddle and not steer. So that was be one at the time, and there is the team group was so good, and there is a good vibe with that team. So I just want to continue, even if it's hard at the training. It was like very hard training for a 13 years old girl. I was like, wow, we have like big sand, 20 kilogram of sand on the canoe, and we need to paddle with this. I'm like, oh my god, it's so hard, but I would like to go see my friends. So yeah, I go hard on the training because I want to still with them. And that start like that, and after year I try V1 and keep going. And on the side I make K2 with my father. When there is like big wave, we go on the sport and we go take big wave in K2. And after that, 15 years old, I start making V1 like on my own, and I was like, okay, it's not that bad, I'm better, and I could steer and paddle at the same time. And after that, I have to move to France for study. So I leave my island, had to work, study. I had to study. And after that, I just put everything on the side and focus on my study. And I come back on 2019 and come back on the sport. And I really start over there in France. So I come back in paddling in France.
Wow. That's really cool. So you did your school, like you did your master's, and you went to school for physio as well, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I was in Paris, so you can paddle in Paris. There is a Tahitian canoe club in Paris, so I just make once or twice a week session, but just for fun on the river, on the Seine River, and we pass through the Eiffel Tower, and so it was so nice to be there. So I keep paddling a bit over there, but not training that much. And when I was graduate physio, I say, okay, now I will not put job in priority. I will put paddle. So I start.
Oh, wow. That's phenomenal. So you grew up then paddling in Tahiti. You were introduced to Va'a, and then you got on the team, and then you went to school in Paris, and then you came back. And then what did your paddling journey kind of look like for you once you came back home? Like, did you have to work a lot before you dedicated yourself more full time to paddling? Or how did that transition work for you?
On the first year, I had to work and paddle at the same time. So that was quite hard because I had to work in physio, and I had to train or before or after the work. And I had trained a girl team in France, so I made a girl team in V6 girl team. So I trained them since even before 2019. We stopped paddling, so I have all that stuff to do. And at the beginning, it was work and paddling, and I paddling more on the weekend, so I can go twice on the water on the weekend. So you start the week, uh, you start the week weaker, and then the end. But you recover during the work, so that's why. But now it's more full time. This year it will be full time paddling. But since last year I was working a bit too.
That's really exciting and really cool to hear. And I'm interested, were you always, I mean, right now it seems like you're smashing every race and every competition, and it sounds like you're training really hard too. Was that always the case when you were younger, growing up, and when you were getting into paddling? Were you always kind of naturally quite fast and good at competitions, or were you not too interested in the competitions and just doing it for fun? Or
No, at the beginning it was just fun, and it was just competition for fun. We have a good team, so we won race, but it was all the six of us won the race. It was not because of one of us. And on the one man canoe, I was not the stronger. I was not the at the beginning. I was taller and not a big girl, so I was quite behind the other. But it was great, and that don't matter for me. It was just the fact to be here with the friend, compete and try to improve myself. So yeah, no, it's make me 10 years before winning a race in Tahiti. And I say this were a race I want to run. I want to won it. It was the we can say the main race in Tahiti, and the paddler who won this race, it's like a world championship for us. And I say, okay, I will win this race, but I was so young, and it make me 10 years, and I make it fourth before won it, and I just keep focused on this race. And competitive, really focus on my training. I just started after my study in 2019, so it was really not short. Yeah, it was a short period of time. I just focused on training, and I had to go like pro slowly. I couldn't have this big weight of train because I will injure myself, or I just couldn't handle it. At the beginning, I have the big plan of training plan. I was like, I will not survive. My body will say no. I try 1 week, and after I was like, oh my god, so painful everywhere. I say, no, not possible. So I just say, okay, this one scratch, this one scratch, this one scratch, and I just make it small week. Then I'm sure that I can handle it. And okay, next year, okay, I can put a bit more. Next year, I can put more. So every year, I start making more training, and I just start like doing gym last year only for 4 months, but I will not. And I was like, oh my god, that's so painful. Paddle after gyms. You feel so tired. You feel so it was bad sensation. So no, it's like very progressive thing, and I will see that we can say this year is supposed to be the years will all the training charge very high level. I will try. I'm not sure I will survive this year, but I try.
Well, honestly, I'd have to say after your performance in Sarasota, I think you will survive. I think you should give yourself a little more benefit of the doubt.
I survived because of technique, not because of physics. I survived because of I think I had good technique, but not physics.
No, I swear, honestly, Holly and I mean, we're so excited to talk to you about Sarasota and your performance there. But I do think Holly's question is a great question. I think that is just so cool to see that, for you to start your origins like paddling just out of pure fun and pure joy, and to kind of like fall in love with it a little bit later on down the road and in life, and coming back home to Tahiti. I think that's really cool that you've dedicated the past few years to training and training hard, and that's changed. I know Holly and I very similarly, we're the same way too. Like we've changed a lot of our lives around as well to make more time for paddling, and there's days where we're like, "Oh my God, this training is so hard." But it's worth it in the end. So, you should be very proud of yourself for how far you have come.
For sure. I'm interested. So I don't know very much about VAR, and I don't know much about the kind of racing scene. And so I'm really interested to find out more about what the racing schedule is like. Do you have is so in stand up, we obviously have long distance races, we have technical races and sprint races like they had in Sarasota. Is that the same? Is it the same kind of structure in for VAR, and does it vary between French Polynesia and mainland France? Yeah, what's the kind of competition like?
Most of the time in France and in Tahiti, we most focused on long distance race, and we only
Okay.
have one long distance race. Even 1 years there is a world championship, there is Prince Championships. So on that kind of year, we had to make a bit sprints in France and Tahiti, but it's only 1 or 2 race a year, so we are not very specific on sprints. So we try to manage the planification of training and be more specific on sprint this year. It was the case last year. It was the sprint years. This year was a marathon race. The World Championship will be in marathon. So it was 1 year is sprint, 1 year is marathon in World Championship. But all the year long in Tahiti or in France is only long distance race on open ocean most of the time. So hard race is about 15 kilometers, we say, around. And the race calendar is like between Tahiti and France, you can race every weekend from February to October if you want. There is a race each weekend. So you have to
Wow.
select the
Wow.
race you want to do.
That's a lot.
Yeah. How long would it take you to paddle around 15 kilometers?
That's depend of condition. That's really depend of conditions and of the race course, because you can have downwind, and if you have downwind you can make it in less than 1 hour 50, even less. But if you have upwind, downwind, or side, you can make, I think you can take 2 hours if you are front wind. So that
Yeah.
will there is very variable, and we are open sea, so we have
Okay.
current and tide, so we
Mhm.
couldn't have that kind of information. But we are faster than SUP. I'm faster than in Va'a. I'm faster than me in SUP. So
Like when I trained in Tahiti last year, I wish I could remember the name. Oh, Tapuna? I think it was Tapuna. That's where
yeah,
like
okay.
yeah, I'd like launch a bit like at that boat ramp, and I'd paddle like inside the reef. So I wouldn't go like out to Tapuna that often, but like there was always a lot of Va'as paddling back and forth there. And I remember looking like from my sup and I'm like, wow, those guys are really fast. Like those guys are in like beast mode. They totally know what they're doing. But I think actually a majority of our listeners do come from the world of stand-up paddling. Do you think maybe quickly you could just explain to our listeners like what is Va'a and maybe what the difference of Va'a is, say from like an OC1?
Okay, so an OC1 there is a rudder and you are sit on top. And on Va you are sit under the canoe, so you can take water on. You have to have bailer or sketch because you can take water, and rather in OC1 you couldn't. And after that, the rudder is the big difference between the both, because OC1 you just need to paddle and you not need to steer because you have the rudder, and in V1 you need to paddle and steer at the same time. So you have a stroke, different stroke. You have your propulsion stroke, but you have also to have a direction stroke. And if you have side wind, you can, like in paddle at the same time during miles and miles and miles. So sometimes you feel like you're bigger than one side than the other. But that's the most different between V1 and OC1. And from V1 and SUP, the only difference is that you have a longer blade and you are on your feet and not sit. So I think it's the most difference between the both, because after that you need to have the propulsion and direction paddling stuff quite the same, and you just need to the stability, harder in stand-up paddle. How to stay stable on the board when you start to move. But the stroke and all the technique we have in V1, it's very easy to put it in SUP. And even if I feel like I feel something different, and when I come back on my V1, I say, "Ooh, that's interesting," to keep it and to try to make it when I'm paddling with my V1. Like there is more fixation with your upper arm, because you need stability. So you really need to be very strong on the water on your SUP, because your blade is like your ama in Va'a. We have a ama on the side for the V1 for stability, and in SUP we don't have this ama. And I feel like when I'm strong on my blade, it's like I have my ama. So that is very transferable. You have a good transfer of thing between the both, because you feel something in SUP, then you can after apply in V1, and that can help you and ever the in V1 and do it in SUP the same. So it's interesting.
Yeah,
That's really interesting. Especially the comparison between the armor and your blade with your paddle with SUP. I know you also have been doing some surf ski paddling and are the French champion for surf ski as well. What made you want to kind of branch out from that and try competing at all these other different paddle sports too?
So I start because of Pacific Game. We have like Tahitian Federation of Surf Ski trying to improve and try to find girls and say, okay, they come back from black year, we can say that, and they say, okay, we back and we just want to grow the sport here. And I say, okay, I can train and try to make Pacific Game. It was 2 years ago, and it was successful. And I feel like the same thing. You can make transfer between the both, between Va'a and kayak, and that was in the off season of Va'a, so it was good. It's like SUP. It was good to do another sport during the off season, and like that you keep paddling, but you keep paddling but doing something different. So you start learning, have new sensation, and in surf ski was the same. So this year now I will train a lot in surf ski this year, and I try to make a world championship in surf ski. But rather than SUP, last year in SUP I just trained one. I couldn't train more than 1 month before the Sarasota, and here I start now for maybe the South Africa World Championship, and see if I can do something. But it was cool to learn something new, and you feel that it's not, even if your blade is totally different, is not that different. It's not that different. You engage the same at the same way. You had to have the same intention on the water, so it's not that different. So I like turning on the tree on the SUP or Va'a or surf ski.
Oh, that is so cool, honestly. I mean, I have such mad respect though for surf ski, because the first time I tried it was actually also in Tahiti. In 2023, I was invited to compete at the Waterman Tahiti Tour, and that was one of the events. Yeah. Yeah, like run by Stefan.
Yeah, and so you go to Huahine.
Yes.
So you go to
Yes.
Huahine, and the event was in Huahine. Okay, so yeah. And Sandrine
Yeah.
Birch, who is
Yes.
doing SUP with me. Okay. So I trained in SUP with
Yeah.
Sandrine Birch too. Okay, nice.
Okay, that is so cool. Oh, I love that you know Sandrine. I love Sandrine. But that's actually how I met her, was competing there with her. And I mean, oh my God, the first time I met her, we were doing a running race around like the town of Wahine, like where the ferry comes in on that main road. And Stefan had told us, okay, guys, like 3 laps. And each lap was like 1 kilometer. And I was like, oh, I got this. I can run 3K, like no problem. On the 3rd lap, Stefan looks at me and he's like, 1 more lap. And I was like, what? And he's like, 1 more lap. And I'm like, oh. And then so Sandrine, she passed me on that lap. And I was like, damn it, Sandrine. And then, because I was gassed. I literally was gassed. I only paced myself for 3K. I was like, see ya, bye. How do you say in French? Like, mad. I was so mad. Yeah. But yeah, like, so when I competed in the Tahiti tour and we got to try surf ski, it's like like those boats are so tippy. Like you guys, your balance has to be impeccable because like the second you even just like lean like this way, it's like you're just gonna flip it. Like those boats are so tippy. So how do you find like yourself transitioning, yeah, like from that to stand up? Like do you find is stand up like more stable, or is it just different because it's like your feet like you're standing versus sitting, or the boat's different? Like I'm so curious to know.
Between Va'a and SUP, it's good because you can see a guys doing Va'a or OC1 going on the surf ski. You will see the surf ski like that because we used to have a ama, so we used to lay on our ama. And when there is not ama, we are like, oh, where is the ama? And we are always flipping on the left side because we used to have something. So at the beginning, it's good to like make your pelvic more stabilized because you feel that you are weak from one side than the other. So now it's better, but at the beginning, yeah, I was like, oh, it's hard to be flat on my surf ski. I was like always lying on the left side. And on stability on SUP, I think I don't have leg. I really don't have leg, and it was so hard. My leg were burning, and I was like, oh my god, I can't paddle more, but my legs say, you couldn't, you couldn't. And it's like, there is nothing. And that make me fall because my leg are just, my muscle are just burned. So that's hard in SUP is like, yeah, you have to work on your leg. And when you are not used to, it's hard to have power on your leg and keep focus on stability. Because sometimes when you are paddling, you have like not blackout, but sometimes you feel like you are on like it's hard time, so you are a bit confused. But when you are sit, it's okay. When you have a ama, it's okay. But when you are in surf ski, it start to be not okay. And when you are in stand up paddle, it's definitively not okay because when you start to be a bit confused, you are not seeing the small wave coming, or you are just I don't know, your paddle is like gliding and you just lose something. Yeah, it was so hard. SUP was so hard for stability, for sure. I think it's I have my hard time on this one.
I'm so glad to hear you say that because I literally was like, I got so humbled the first time in a surf ski. I was like, this is so hard.
The first time I ever tried surf ski, I think I must have been in like a more stable, maybe beginner one. I don't know, because I didn't have too much difficulty with the stability, but I was slow. Like I was expecting to be faster than my SUP because surf ski should be faster, and I was slower than my SUP. And I was like, I just could not get the hang of it. Like it was so, for me, it felt so different to paddling just with one blade. So yeah, respect for being able to transition between everything so easily, even just with a month of training or a short time to get used to the craft. But how did you feel? I know you said earlier before we started recording that your first SUP race was the Gla in France. How did you feel going into that? Did you feel competitive, or you were just doing it for fun as well, like you started initially?
We're just doing it for fun because it was the end of the season, and I say, okay, I will need to start in January training for Va'a, and I would and if I stop during 1 month, it will not be good to go back after that. I say I had to find something, and there is a friend who say, "Oh, do you want to make this race? It's a SUP race," and I have a lot of friends doing SUP around me, and I say, "Why not? Let's go." But it was, I don't know, a gap pass with a big SUP making small little wave, and I don't know what happened. I just flip and fall on the cold water just before the start. I was like, and all people around, I just hear them say, and I was like, okay, my God, I don't have race yet, and I'm just wet, and I will be cold. So that was the beginning of my race. But obviously, I think it's good that I have fallen in the water, because if not, I will be very hot on this race. And it was flat, so it was good because it was very flat. So that was good, and I will stay far from everyone, so I don't have the washing machine from every people. Like in Sarasota, I was like on my flat water on the side, far from everyone, and I doing my race. So that was good. But at the end, I remember my legs are just burning, and I was like, oh well, maybe I will not able to finish my race because I can push with my arm, but my legs say, no, you couldn't. And I was feeling my knee doing like that. I was shaking my legs and making my board moving. And I was like, please let me go over, over the beach. So that was my first race in SUP. And I said, okay, it's good, but it's very hard. I don't know if I will go it again.
But you got drawn back. You did
And I
more.
go back. Yeah. And the friends say, oh, do you want to make this race? And I say, yes, again.
You got suckered in. You came back, and so you said
And it was
you.
Sandrine.
Oh, oh, it was Sandrine.
The second time it was Sandrine say, oh, there is a race day just near to your house. There is stand-up paddle, and on the afternoon there is prawn race. Do you want to come? I can give you a prawn. You have your stand-up paddle. Come with me. I will do the race. I was like, okay, let's go. And yeah, I haven't paddled from the Glagla race, so I just jump on the race. And my last paddle in SUP was during the Glagla race. So we make 1 year without touching a SUP, and I say, okay, let's go for 30 kilometers. I was like, yes, 13 kilometers. Like, yes, for sure. Crazy. Without water, without nothing, just without nothing. So that was not fun,
That is
because at the end I was like, I think I will drink the lake. I just want to drink. It was so hot, but it was good.
it sounds like you had a lot of fun, which is the main thing.
Yeah.
And then what did the rest of, you said last year was your most successful year so far in Va'a. What did last year look like for you? What events did you do? How were your race results?
Last year, in Va'a, the year starts in March. There is race in March, and I was like traveling a lot, so I do a lot of race in Hawaii. So I won my first race in Hawaii. It's like the same main race we have in Tahiti called the Te Eito, the Iron Guys, and they do the same in Hawaii. So I start with this one in V1 in Hawaii, and after that it was a 6-man race in France with my team. So we won ticket to go to Tahiti, make a race this year. So we won ticket last year for this year, and the year before we have one ticket. So after this race in France, we go to Tahiti with my French team, doing a race in V6, and we won it. There is Hawaiian and French and Tahitian girl, and we were in front of all that very strong woman. I was like, oh my God, we did it. And after that, there is V1 race, main V1 race season here during June and July. So I stay around Tahiti and make races. And after that, I had to move to Hawaii. Hawaii, because it was the World Championship in Hawaii. So I do, I make the World Championship, and I have the first. So I'm supposed to be the faster woman in V1 in 500 meters. And after that, there is a race in France, and go back to Hawaii to make like a big race, the Molokai race in V6 team. So we make second, and we make the other race over there. Queen Lily Okekai is the race only for women. So there is like more than 100 canoe of girls, six women canoe. Like we are around 100. It was so beautiful to see all that women on the water. Some of them are here to compete, and the other are here just for fun, be together and paddle. So that was a very good experience. And after that, I spent a bit some week in Hawaii and train with Hawaiian girls. And after that, I go back to France, train for Sarasota with Sandrine, and the end of the year was Sarasota. Oh no, there is a French championship before there. Oh no, there is other race in SUP, because I say, okay, I will go to World Championship, but I haven't raced in SUP, and say, okay, what is the race schedule in France? I will need to pick 1 or 2 races before going, just to have an idea of what is a race in SUP. So I do a race in Saint-Tropez with Mélanie Lafenêtre and other girls. So that will be a good experience, but it was flat. And I train on flat, so I say, okay, flat is good for stability for me. It's not a problem. And after that, there is a French championship in SUP. So that one was a good one too. And I think on the 3 first minutes of the Total SUP recording, you can see my beautiful falling. And after that, it was Sarasota, the end of the year. So yeah, that was a lot of move.
Lots. Yeah. So a very busy but very successful racing season. So that's incredible to hear. And yeah, I mean, honestly, yeah, on the note of Sarasota, I think you really truly blew a lot of people's minds away with with your performance. And I actually said to Holly earlier as well, like the total sup, like Mathieu being on like the live feed, it was so much fun to watch, and it was so much fun to listen to his commentating. Like, shout out Mathieu from Total Sup. But everyone was like, who is this woman? Like, who is this beast? Like, just over here on the side, and she's like creeping her way up. And you were hanging with the top women. Like, you were right beside Espe, you were right beside Mary Carmen. So tell us a little bit about your Sarasota experience and what that was like to be with like the best women in the world.
It was crazy. I make the start. I saw all the girls going on the side and just going the one behind the other, and I was like, oh no, I don't like that. I don't wanna be on the back at the other and just surf the wave and say, oh, I don't want to draft. And I said, okay, I will stay on my side and doing what I can, and let's see. And at the first buoy, I was like, oh my god, I am on the side. There is the buoy, and they all will come onto me, and I was like, oh my god, that's not good for me. And I was like, just stressful, because I said, okay, I'm on the first pass, but I was not like good place. I was like wrong place for sure at the buoy, and yeah, I fall on that buoy, and after that I say, okay, I need to go on the other side, and yeah, I don't want to draft, and I don't want to be draft. So that's why I just stay on the side of Marie Carmen and say, okay, I'm here to paddle, and I'm not here to like. I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to just focus and be fresh after the end and just go back to a sprint at the end of the race. I say, here, I'm here to race and see what is my level racing and paddling. So I would say, okay, I stay on the side and I paddle all the whole race, but I would like just to know how my level is. So that was fun, because I say, okay, oh my god, they're just behind. We are just together. I was like, oh my god, no, it's not possible. It couldn't be. So no, it couldn't be. In my mind, it was like, nah, yeah, there is something. They will accelerate, and there is, I don't know, but I will not. Yeah, don't trust it. I would say it's too beautiful. It's too beautiful. There is something weird here. And yeah, at the end, they just start to paddle hard, and I say, okay, I see. You are not at the 100% at the beginning of the race. On the 2 last kilometers, yeah, they push hard, and I say, okay, now they paddle. But it was so great, so great. But the draft, I will not use to draft, and that's so hard. So one time I was just, because of the buoy, I tried to make a better line, so I feel blocked on the draft, and there is people around me, and I was like, oh, I couldn't paddle. There is board over there. There is wave, and was like, oh, it's so hard, and like there is a real strategy, and people can block you and can. I was like, I don't like that mentality. Like you feel like you can be. There is a real strategic thing here, and I'm not used to that. So I was like, ooh, that could be so bad. If you are not used to that, could be very bad and stressful. But it was cool.
That's what
It was cool.
It's super cool. I wanted to ask that, like whether the difference between what the racing that you're used to, like Va'a, and with stand up, because I feel like there, like just like you said, there is real strategy in the stand up racing because everybody is drafting and often there are buoy turns and other reasons too. But when you're doing like long distance races in Va'a, do you have the same strategy, or is there any drafting at all? Is there any benefit to drafting, or do you just everybody just goes and everybody paddles the whole way on their own?
Because most of the races are on open ocean and it's not flat, draft is so hard, so dangerous because you can take the tail on the nose of your canoe. So we are not used to draft, and I think because of fear, we don't use the draft. We prefer, even if we can, we prefer stay on the side and just fight against each other rather to be hiding behind and just go back at the end. So that is most the mentality of we are not using draft. And after that, yeah, there is strategy is more with navigation, using wave, current, and your the cape, the race, yeah, the orientation you will take to have the better condition than the other. So strategy is more, yeah, about navigation than draft and turn on the buoy. We don't have a lot of turn like that. So yeah, it's more navigation. But yeah, you feel like in SUP there is a big strategy with draft and turning at the buoy for sure. Even on flat race, I don't have try open ocean race in SUP, but that could be good. And I think on
I
this one
think
you
you should
couldn't
try
draft. On
it.
this one you couldn't drive, I think.
I think in open ocean it depends how choppy it is. Sometimes people will still try to draft because I think people are used to trying. And so even if there's not much benefit in the open ocean, a lot of people will still try to draft for long distance ocean races, even if it means there is like bumping with the nose and the tail, which isn't great. Um, but yeah, for sure, it's harder. And I think there's a lot less strategy. Like with turns when it's open ocean, if there are sharp turns, it's really difficult to step back without falling. And so I think people are a lot more careful and trying not to fall in. So maybe there's less strategy in the ocean races on SUP. But yeah, I think your performance, considering that you hadn't done many SUP races and you weren't drafting, I think your performance in Sarasota was incredible. Did you do any other races? Did you do the technical or the sprints, or was it just the long distance race?
Technical, I will not. I said no because I think for sure I will broke my wrist or I will broke my broke something or my board or so I say no. Technical is not for me yet, but could be fun. But you need to really work on that. And I just tried the sprints, but it was like a big joke. 100 meters is like so explosive, and I was like, oh my god, I was trained for 500. 100 is like so short. I was just okay. I'm good. I finished. Okay, so not good. Not good. Definitively not good. When I saw the record, I was like, oh, I'm so slow, and I feel like I was pushing. But when I saw the video, I was like, oh my god. So yeah, I tried sprint, but it's not. 100 is a bit short. It's a bit short for me.
Oh, girl, I feel you on that. I thought the same thing. Like, I mean, in my first heat, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go. And then I like looked back and I was like, oh my God, I like just made, like, you know how your first qualifying heat, it was like you had to be like top four? I came in fourth. So I was like, okay, I made it to another round. And then the second round, smoked, like annihilated. Like, I was like, what just happened? But you're right. It's so different. And I would be so curious actually to see your performance in, say, like last year, Holly, when we competed in Thailand and we had the 200-meter sprints versus the 100. Like, I feel like if in Va'a you're so used to like a 500, I feel like a 200-meter you could probably get your speed up enough where, like, I think by the end of it you would excel a lot. Like, people don't think there's a big difference
Yeah.
between the distances, but I think there is. Like, I think 200's very different than a 100.
Oh yeah, for
I
sure.
think
100
especially
is
if
very
in
good.
sorry.
You need to be in really. You need to be in really quick. Even the start with the box was hard because with the wing you was push and you are not stable, so you are not on the side you're supposed to paddle, and that start. So if you lose the one or two first stroke, it was over. It was over. It was no, it was very hard and technique. And I think 200 is better, but it's still short, I think. It's still short.
I wondered if 200 meters on SUP, because SUP is slower than VAR, if the time is similar for 200 meters on SUP compared to 500 meters on VAR, maybe.
Va'a in 200 we do when the condition is like very good and the world record is 2 minute 19 for
Okay.
500. But this year there
Okay.
is side wind, so you can won with this year it was on open ocean, so we have side wind and wave on the side. You can have one with a time of 2 minutes 35. So depend of condition.
Okay.
That's fast though for like
Yeah.
a
For
craft at
500 meters.
yeah. Wow. But the boats are they like a Va'a is lighter than a SUP, I'm assuming.
I think no. Yeah, the good Va'a can have a full carbon Va'a can make a 9 kilogram like SUP. So we can have this. We have the same weight because in
Wow.
Sarasota, I saw some SUP at 9 kilograms. Is it? You have?
Hmm.
So yeah,
But
we can say this is the
the,
same.
yeah, they're longer and narrower, I think. Is that right? How long is a VAR?
Around 7 meters.
Okay. And a
So
SUP
very
is
long.
maybe like 5. Yeah, super long.
Yeah. That's cool. I didn't know that. I didn't know that that's how long a Va'a was. That's so neat. Wow.
So you are obviously qualified as a physiotherapist and you've been working as a physiotherapist until recently. How do you combine your knowledge for injury prevention with the volume of training that you must be doing over the months of the year?
For sure, the knowledge of physiotherapy have that helped me a lot to understand what happened in my body and what happened, and need to be very progressive because you feel like when you're making something harder and your body is not used to, you start to feel pain. And even in a technique, if you are doing something wrong, your body will say, that's not good for me. I will not handle that for a long period of time. So, or you change, or I just stay on pain and you couldn't continue. So, I think that was the most part of that thing is help me to understand what happened in my body, and with the biomechanic, try to work on technical, be very proper and not overload my joints and tendon and art, to be sure that everything is well positioned, good, and not overloaded because I'm doing something wrong. And I think prevent something in Va'a. We are using some of the guy are using like very big blade, like very big blade, heavy canoe with bad technique. For sure, you do you do a lot of training with that thing. For sure, you will hinder yourself. You will have rotator cuff pain or tennis elbow or wrist pain. So for sure. But when you're using the good blade with the good material and good technique, you couldn't enjoy yourself. And I have never enjoyed myself. And when I start to feel a bit pain, I just don't be scared to take some rest. So I just say, okay, stop. I just stop a bit for 1, 2, or 3 days, let my body recover, and I come back again. Rather staying, say, no, it's okay, we'll pass, and you go on it, and say, oh, it's not passed. So it's too late when you go on it and it's not passed. It's, yeah, too late. So that's, yeah, biomechanic and all the knowing your body that help. Feeling and knowing.
I think that's a really cool message actually to echo for sure, because I think a lot of us, we're very dedicated and we're very passionate about our sports and being on the water, and it's so easy to say no, no, I'm fine, if you do feel something. And I think in paddling, I know like probably shoulders, elbows, like lower back injuries are like very common, and a lot of people just shrug them off. But yeah, like what you said, I think we do need rest days, or we do need to take moments where we listen to our body and say, hey, okay, like let's chill today, like maybe not push it so that we can come back stronger and better. So I think that's really helpful advice.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just trying to make something different. Sometimes it's very short thing, but very insignificant to say, no, that will not change my pain. Yeah, that will. Like, typically your upper arm in Va'a or in SUP, you will paddle, and each time you will come back through your stroke, you will just open here. Here you just pinch your rotator cuff, and each time you're doing that, you pinch it. So how on miles and miles, you say, okay, you overload your tendon. So just try to stay on that position and not overuse it that way. Is useless, and it's cause at the end that will make you a pain. So there is small thing like that about posture, about position, who will just change everything. But it look like very insignificant thing. Or your wrist, because people like sometimes in Va'a, you are at the way back, you are doing an over that movement. And if you are just block your wrist, you will not feel the pain over there. It's like small little thing, but just be conscious. Sometimes what I say to my girl I train, you say, you are paddling without knowing what you are doing. So you are doing something automatically, and you don't have the really conscience of what you are engaged and what you are doing. And that you can learn it by teaching. If you are teaching to someone, you need to be very conscious of what you do at each moment. So at this time, you say, okay, when I'm doing that movement, I engage that muscle, my joint is on this position, and you are conscious of everything. And when I start like teaching to the other, I just say, okay, the guy they are just paddling without knowing what they are doing. You ask them a question, they say, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. Okay, so just stop now, and we just think about what you are doing during paddling. So try to do something different. So you just try to perturb yourself and say, okay, now when you are paddling, you will do that thing. So you make it focus on each small thing on his stroke, to be sure that he will be conscious of what he's engaging. And after that, you say, okay, now you know what you are doing. So try to, if you have a pain, try to modulate his doing something more or less, and see if the pain is increasing or decreasing. If it's decreasing, is that the thing is good. So try to make more the thing who will decrease your pain that increase it. But sometimes we just feel pain and just continue doing the thing who is like, I, I, I. Well, you are, keep going, just stop and change. Stop and change. And it's on each sport, I saw the same thing. Like people feel pain and keep doing what they are doing. You say, okay, no, if you have pain, just stop and ask why. If there is a reason, you have to find it.
Yeah.
It's really good advice. It sounds so simple, but I think when you're experiencing pain, you don't want to stop, especially when it's a sport that you find fun and you enjoy, and it's hard to. I think sometimes people are scared that they will have to stop it for a long time, and so they just put it out of their head and pretend it's not happening and hope that it will get better by itself. But I'm sure you know that that's not always the case. So yeah, no, really good advice. It doesn't take long to fix things if you know what you're doing, by the sounds of it.
Yeah, video is good because you can have a feedback, film you, and you know, okay, I'm pain when I'm doing that movement at the end of this thing. So just film yourself and say, okay, I'm doing this thing, and this thing at the end. Okay, I will try to change one. Okay, it's not this one, the other, and try to find a way to modulate your pain. And sometimes most of the time you find it. Because when I'm changing sport, obviously I'm doing something wrong. When I'm start doing kayak or doing SUP, I'm doing something wrong. And after I say, okay, my shoulder is not, I don't feel comfortable on my shoulder. So, okay, I'm doing something wrong on SUP that I'm not doing in Va'a, what I am doing. And I try to find it. And even in its SUP, in kayaking, it was the, like, big pain on your butt. You couldn't sit anymore. Say, okay, there is a big problem here. We had to fight it. So,
Yeah.
and you find it. And you find it.
That's crazy. I've heard about that actually with like, yeah, kayaks or like I've had a couple of friends who like they do OC2 as well, and like
Yeah.
yeah, they find that too in
Less
like the
bad.
long distance. Yeah.
Yeah,
They're like
less
my
bad.
butt hurts.
Yeah, and all the leg is just cramping at the end of the race, and you couldn't work at the end. You say, wow, my left leg is just dying. And yeah, because of the ama. That's because of the ama. We are most laying on the ama and not using
That's
any.
right.
Yeah, and we are not using any enough the leg driving. And when you are using that, you feel that I don't have enough now. I don't have pain anymore when I'm doing Va'a or OC2 on that side. So I find a way. Just more using your leg driving, and that helped a lot.
Yeah, get creative and
Just
use the legs
sorry,
even when you're sitting
somebody's just
down,
knocking
people.
at my
You heard
door.
it. Oh, that's okay, Holly. Yeah. But seriously though, that is way too cool. Oh man, yeah. Like there's so many people that tell me that. Like my butt hurts and I'm just like, okay, even though you're sitting down, you can still use your legs. You can still engage your legs and use the bigger muscles over smaller muscles for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, I think too that's quite fascinating as well that you mentioned like when you teach your students you'll give them that kind of advice as well for like injury prevention. But I think I was kind of looking through your Instagram earlier as well, and you seem to travel to like a lot of different places as well to teach. Do you teach like just Va'a, or do you teach a few other different like disciplines when you travel as well? And where are some of maybe your favorite places that you get to go?
Yeah, I travel a lot, but when I'm teaching, it's near to a competition. When there is a race in Hawaii, I will have a class in Hawaii, and when I go to US, California, doing a race, I organize a class over there too. And yeah, I'm only focused on teaching in Va'a because I will not feel comfortable to teach in SUP and kayaking because I'm not used to do it. So it will be weird if I teach in them. But I, when I'm teaching Va'a, I tell them, oh, you must try stand up paddle or you must try kayaking because that will help you on that side. For butt pain, try kayak. You will feel that you are more laying on your left side, and you will see that your kayak is laying on the left side. And if you are able to make your kayak flat, after that, when you go back on your OC1, you will be more stabilized on your pelvic. You will use less your ama, and you will be better glide because you are not laying on and you will not feel pain on. And for the guys who will need to have a power stroke, I told them, oh, go on the SUP. You will feel that you are more stronger on your stroke in SUP. So you will feel that you need to be stronger on your stroke because you are not stable if you are not strong on the water. So I just give them some advice on doing other sport than Va'a, and come back after that on Va'a, but I will not teaching other thing than Va'a.
Nice. Okay, that's really cool. I was so curious to know about, yeah, your teaching when you do get to go abroad.
But yeah, most of the time I just spend time between Tahiti, France, and US. And yeah, because of the World Championship in Va'a, last year it was in Hawaii. This year it will be Brazil. So it will be nice to have Brazil this year in Va'a.
Wow. That's wicked cool.
Brazil will be
Oh my
super cool.
gosh. Yeah.
But after that, there is the Molocabra race. Just 1 week after the World Championship in Va'a, there is the Molocabra race, and you can do it in SUP, in kayak, or in Va'a. There is the three supports on the same race. So that could be fun.
Hey, guys, I think
Yeah.
I know a race we're all gonna meet at sometime soon in the future.
Maddie and I do this on nearly every podcast episode. We're chatting with someone and they're like, oh yeah, there's this really cool event. And we're like, okay, sounds like we're going next year.
Sign us up.
Yeah, we get drawn in too easily. But Brazil sounds really nice.
Yeah, Molocabra, there is guys doing SUP last year. They go over there and they say, oh, this race is just amazing race. So I think I'm over there. So why not just wait 1 week to have another race over there?
For sure.
That's right. It's like you might as well kill two birds with one stone. Just enjoy your time in Brazil, keep paddling and kicking butt.
I'm interested to find out, are you planning any more SUP events for 2025? I was going to say next year, but it's this year. For 2025 or surf ski, or are you planning to stick with Va'a for now?
So I have stick my Va'a race, so it's always the same. So it's already planned. And this year I had kayak, and I had the World Championship in kayak at the end of October, and I would like to plan Abu Dhabi, but the schedule changed. They changed the day of race, and it will be more at the beginning of November, if I'm not. Or I think there is something wrong with my other race, and I think I couldn't go to Abu Dhabi this year. So I just looked for ICF. No, there is ICF, IESA schedule, and see if I could go on this one, because I think I couldn't go to Abu Dhabi because of the change of day rate.
Yeah, I'm honestly not sure how many people are going to Abu Dhabi. Like I haven't heard many paddlers, at least from here, like in North America. I know it's for us, it's a really long way. I mean, for you, it's also well. I mean, well, actually, Tahiti. But you would probably fly west, I think, to get to Abu Dhabi. Probably,
Yeah,
maybe.
maybe by Japan. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
really know. And
Maybe
yeah,
it's
I'd
not
maybe
as
try
bad.
ICEA, but I don't have the schedule of ICEA yet. There is not. They haven't give it. No.
No,
You know if
Yeah,
there
I
is
say
you haven't seen anything,
they always
Holly,
give
eh?
their dates. No,
there is nothing.
so last year in Copenhagen in Denmark, they gave us all the information months in advance. But usually every other year they give us the dates like 6 weeks before. So is
So nice.
less organized. Yeah, surprise, exactly. So hopefully they give us some dates soon and a location, but probably not.
So yeah, we don't have location and we don't have that. Yeah. Well, okay. So let's see if that can fit. And I think I couldn't make even the French Championship in SUP. This year I will not able to make it because I have a V6 race with my girl team, and we're supposed to race in Tahiti. So even the French Championship, I'm maybe not able to do it. So it's hard when you have three things, like the schedule of each. You say, okay, this race, you have to make a choice between. So I think that's a hard part. You couldn't do everything.
Yeah. I think
Yeah, it
especially
sounds
as
like
an
you have a
athlete.
super busy year. Sorry, Maddie. I think I'm lagging behind you guys.
All good, Holly. No worries.
So yeah, maybe this year will not be my SUP year. The schedule even is not that good for me. But maybe next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely believe that, I mean, again, just from your performance in Sarasota and and how you've blown everybody away, and how you continue just to dominate, I feel like, the world of paddling sports in general, like being in Va'a, being in surf ski, and dabbling in OC1 as well. I think, yeah, we definitely hope to see you in more paddling races for sure in the future. And congratulations too on just the fact that you are able to do this full time and pursue your passions. And I loved earlier too, like when I read your like details about me form, that you do want to inspire more women as well to like participate in paddling. And so I guess maybe before we end the episode today, is there any like words of wisdom that you would share just for like wanting to get more women involved in sports, or maybe what you would like to see for women paddling in the future?
Mm, I can say, yeah, come paddle, because this is our garden. And when you have like a girl team, or you have a team with train with, you feel and you live very strong thing, and that give you power to achieve very big thing on your personal life after that, because you take all the power you have on the water and you share with all the girls, and after that you feel more confident and you feel more stronger to accomplish other thing on your private life, and that help. And there is yeah, it's something. And you do this thing for yourself, so it's maybe most of the girl I train, you say, okay, that's my moment, I go on the water and it's for myself, and because I'm loving it, and because it's like meditation. I love paddling because it's the same thing on open water, on flat water. It's like meditation, and I just think about me, what I'm feeling, and it's my present movement for me. And if you are if you don't have find that, come try paddling. You can have a good moment.
I totally feel the same. I think it's the rhythm of just the paddle stroke is just like meditation, you know. There's no distractions. You can't be on your phone or talking to people too much. It's not even like running or being at the gym where there's other people around. It's just you and the water and the rhythm of your paddle stroke and nothing else. Yeah, it's a really cool place to be, and it's super inspiring having people like you leading the way as well in so many different paddle sports. So, yeah, hats off, absolutely. Do you find the same, Maddie, that kind of like meditative state whilst you're paddling?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Unless I feel like I'm about to get lost and then I need to check my paddle logger app just to see where I'm at. That actually happened to me a couple weeks ago. I was paddling somewhere totally new in Florida and I was like, oh my God, where am I? um, but besides that, yeah, absolutely. Like, I'm such a huge believer in the concept of blue mind, knowing that like our our neurons are firing just even when we look at water, and being around water makes us very much healthier, happier human beings. And I think stand-up paddleboarding is like a vessel of that. It's a reason to immerse yourself in nature, to feel good, to find peace. And yeah, I can definitely testify for sure to the meditative nature to it.
Awesome. So before we finish up today, Eloa, where can people find you if they have any questions for you, or maybe if they want to come to one of your clinics and learn more about their technique and how to improve their paddling? Where's the best place for them to reach out to you?
I will say on Instagram, on Facebook, and yeah, and Instagram or Facebook. And after, there is my big brand, Va'a brand, who organize all the clinics. They communicate more than me about my clinics, like Are Trigo, and they talk about clinics, but more on my personal one. They can find the information.
Awesome.
I'm not
Well,
really good in social media.
we'll include
I'm not really good on that.
too much time paddling, and that's I think that's the good balance, is more time on the water, less time on social media.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I'll Yeah, we'll include the links to your social media and the clinics in the show notes of this episode too. So if anyone is interested, they can head over and find out all the details. But we really appreciate your time today. It's been great to chat with you and learn more. At least for me, it's been great to learn more about the world of Va'a. And I am pretty keen to come to Brazil and race in the Molocabra with you guys next year.
Oh yeah.
And
Okay,
yeah,
let's meet over
it's
there.
been awesome. Let's do it.
Holly, we need to go back to Tahiti. I think that's the real conversation here. I think we need to
Okay.
go
Mm,
back to
Yeah,
We'll go there
Tahiti.
first.
Yeah.
Or just both. We could just go from one to the
both,
other.
yeah. After Brazil in Tahiti, it's not that long. Just one plane.
Yeah,
Easy.
perfect.
That's right.
Yeah, that is good. That's better than going from England, where Tahiti is like the other side of the world. So yeah, let's do it. Why not? Awesome. It's been great chatting with you both today. Thank you so much for your time and for sharing so much information. And we wish you all the best for your races in 2025. We can't wait to see how you get on. And we're holding out to see your results and to see if you do make it to the ISA World Championships or to any other SUP races too. So thank you, Aloha, and we will catch you soon.
So bye. Thank you for hosting me today. It was a pleasure.
Well,
No problem.
merci beaucoup, aloha, bonne journée.
Oh, nice, French.
You. I had to throw that in there. A little flex, you know.
Thank you so much for tuning in and for listening to this episode of the Rise and Glide podcast brought to you by Paddlelogger.
We just have two small things to ask you before you close this episode. The first one, if you enjoyed it, please leave us a rating and a review. It really makes a big difference. And the second one is to go to the App Store and download Paddlelogger today.
We can't wait to see you on the next episode.